Welcome to the Gentleman's Playbook. I'm your host, Rod Warner. Today I have a great, exciting new guest. These gentlemen are truly gentlemen. I will introduce them when we come back to the Gentleman's Playbook. Welcome back to the Gentleman's Playbook. I have two exciting guests, Dr. BK and Mr. Ellis. Guys, both of you guys, BK, what's your profession?
Internal medicine physician.
Ellis, what's your profession?
Human resources.
Human resource. Okay. Now, you guys are in the corporate world. And you deal with a lot of different personalities, if you will. What would you say your challenges of being in the corporate world, especially when it comes to dating?
Ooh, when it comes to dating.
I just threw a whole thing to it.
Yeah.
I'll start. I'll start with just corporate challenges overall, right? Trying to, still be yourself, but also at the same time kind of play, quote unquote, playing the game, right? You always want to make sure that whenever you go to work, you're doing your best and you're putting your best foot forward and you're trying to climb that corporate ladder, right? But also at the same time, how do I do that and not, lose myself to just the corporate world in general, right? So when you're in corporate America long enough, you tend to notice a lot of things where, an eyebrow or two is raised, like, oh, you act like that? Oh, this is how the quote unquote game is played, and asking yourself the question like, hey, how much of that game do I want to play? How much do I want to get? So it challenges you in the sense of, you have to ask yourself the question, what balance, does the balance exist, and if so, how do I strike it, and how do I strike it perfectly to the point where I'm able to climb that corporate ladder and still be myself at the end of the day? So that's one challenge, I would say. With dating, me personally, I don't let those lines cross. Dating life is personal, corporate life is business. I keep those separate, me personally, because not saying that it's frowned upon, but I've seen it get messy tons of times. I'm human resources, so I see. Yeah. So I've seen / dealt with a lot. Yeah. So me, I keep that separate.
BK, same question.
Yeah, I agree. Keeping lines separate, while you're at work, and when you're outside of work and it's time to play, you play. I think the biggest challenge being a professional and dating is always time, and having enough time, to get to know your partner or potential partner, or multiple partners, whatever you feel. But I totally agree when it comes to work. Don't date where you work.
Okay. When in my book, The 7 S's Getting in a Woman, when you guys first heard the title, what came to mind?
That title's crazy.
That title is How to Be a Player Too.
Exactly. Let me go on my first day and pull this out. Like, yeah. So this is how. The title, definitely, I won't say it raised an eyebrow, but it was like, and I say this with all due respect, I was like, yeah, that's right.
I don't know how to take that.
And all positivity, it was like, yeah, no, that's right. So
what was the what was the pleasant surprise about it?
Well, when I read through it, kind of, I told you this earlier, but when I read through it, yes, every single S made absolute sense when it comes to getting a woman, right? There was nothing in the book that was a aha moment for me. It was more so of a, oh, yeah, no, That makes sense. That tracks. But as I read through it, yes, those seven S's can get a woman, but also at the same breath, those seven S's, as a man, you should kind of already be working on without the women in the picture, right? It's more so that quote, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right.
So those seven S's you should already be working on, on yourself as a man, right? I won't get into, it in great detail, but those seven things, if you have those top priority and you're working on those or you're solidifying or refining those, you know, not to sound crazy, but the women part comes, I won't say fairly easy, but kind of does. So that was a pleasant surprise for me.
I think the title itself grabs your attention right off the bat, and it makes you want to, open it up and see what this brother is talking about. And I think once you read, I think it's, I call it foundational. And I say that because in it is just stuff that every man is striving, should be striving, or at some point in your life you've mastered these areas of life. And so it grabs your attention thinking it's about the women. You read and you learn it's about the man.
Yep.
And I think if you develop those qualities as a man, like most OGs will say, the woman will come.
Exactly.
BK, or Dr. BK, why do you think women should read it?
Yeah, I think there are pearls in there that anybody can take away from. And so I think, even younger men, older men, women, you can find something in each chapter that you can learn from. And I think for a woman, it's something, if you have a young son, if you have a brother, it's game you can put them on as well.
Okay. Now, Ellis, I know you grew up in a different background, meaning family structure. Well, both of y'all had y'all parents around. In the book, did it teach you something different than what your fathers taught you?
I say for me, I think it's a blueprint. And I was fortunate enough to have my father, and a lot of the pearls in there have been passed down to me in person, from, not to give too much away, but just, your first cologne or how you carry yourself or speaking like you got some sense, intelligently.
Yeah.
And so thankfully I had lessons, from a dad who cared and poured into me. And I think reading the book, it was reminiscent of a lot of those lessons. And I think that's why any young guy could benefit from it, because it's stuff we all strive for no matter where we are in life as a man. You want to look good. You want to smell good. You want to be smart. You want to be confident. You want to have a foundation. And so I think we're all looking for that. We're all refining that. Nobody's perfect. So it's all part of our process. But yes, sorry.
No, that's good. Ellis, which S did I miss?
So I remember reading this book when you first dropped it, right? So I can't, let's see. I would say, is skill in there?
No.
Skill set, I would say. So yeah, so I had to double check. I would say skill set, because exactly to his point, the title gets you there. How to get the woman, but when you read it, how to be the man, right? So when you talk about, I would say skill set in regard to make sure that you have a specific skill, make sure you're able to do some type of a trade, because that then transitions into the providing aspect. Of being a man, in totality, right? And obviously one of the main things women want is that provider, right? So in order to do that, you have to be able to be, you have to be able to have a skill, develop a skill in whatever industry or whatever thing that you're doing, and being able to be that provider. So if there's any S that I would throw in there that
Skill.
could benefit, it would be skill.
Let me ask you guys this. When it comes to dating, you meet this woman. What's some of the first places that you take a woman on a date?
I'll let you go first.
Well, one of the great things about Dallas is that they have a crap ton of coffee spots. So coffee places are always great, right? It's not a lot, not loud music. You're not at a club. We ain't gotta have alcohol on our first, drink. You get your matcha. I'll get my chai. Let's find a corner table with some greenery and some sunlight and have a conversation, right? That's where you're really getting to know someone. It's more intimate, it's more deep, and it's not superficial. It's not at a club. It's not at a bar. Could you meet someone at a club or a bar out of nowhere? Absolutely. Could that blossom into something? Absolutely. But when it comes to preference, noise is everything, and you want to alleviate that as much as possible in a nice calm setting. Coffee's always calming, and there are moments where you could be in a coffee shop for 30 minutes, you can be in a coffee shop for 3 hours, right? It provides that platform for you. So I would say coffee is a
BK, what's the first place you would take a woman?
No, I actually like the coffee answer. Keeping it simple now in 2025. I think, just conversation is key in getting to know somebody. And you know what you're able to do as far as impressing and whining and dining. But actually having a conversation, hearing how they think, seeing if it meshes with how you think is key. So I know there was a lot of stuff on social media against these coffee dates. And some wise men told me that's where you need to start and just keep it going. I'm not opposed to a simple lunch date, but I think keeping it simple, and it's not about the place, and just keeping the focus on the person and having the conversation.
Well, I agree with you guys. I think it's very important to start out with coffee, because you don't know if you want to spend that time with that person or not. Well, but coffee. Let's just say, for example, they could be a VP of a company, and you can be just, work at post office. I don't know. No one feeling used, and you want to actually sit there and spend time with that person and want to be seen. So I think coffee, you're not overspending, you're not underspending, but you're giving time for time. And that's what I would teach my daughter. Like, hey, go out and spend some time with this person, talk to them, because communication is the heartbeat of the relationship. If we can't communicate over something simple, we're going to communicate over a big steak and some drinks, and that can lose it. So I suggest the first 3 days to be coffee. 1, you pay for the first one. The second, she pay for the second one. And the third one, you pay for it. And let's see if you guys enjoy each other's company. When we come back from the gentleman's playlist, I have a very important question to ask these gentlemen. I'm your host, Rod Warner, and we'll be back.
Imagine walking into any room with unshakable confidence. Rod Warner's The 7S makes it possible. This proven guide distills the art of attraction into 7 powerful principles. Stop feeling lost and start building genuine connections that last. Your journey to a better social life begins now. Get the book on Amazon.
Welcome back to the Gentleman's Playbook. I'm your host, Rod Warner. Hey, guys, I got the question. When dealing with dating and religion, how do y'all do that? How do y'all see that? Because I know a lot of times some women, it can be mixed signals, where I don't do that, and I go to church, and I'm holier than thou, and no, I don't do that. Then the next week or two, you'd be like, oh, you get down like that? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know you moved like that. How do y'all, well, let me ask you this question. Is that giving mixed signals?
We all fall short, brother. We all fall short. And, and I've struggled with that myself, trying to be consistent in terms of how I live and what I speak, and then, what I do. Yeah. And so I don't consider it necessarily a deal breaker. There are levels and limits. And I just really take it as a case by case scenario. I am trying to get better at my own consistency, however, and just sort of how I live, what I believe, and how I act.
Okay. When you hear this word, a lot of women want to be protected. What do you think they mean? Ellis, I'll let you go.
When I hear that, I'll automatically hear that they want to feel safe, right? And social media will tell you that there are a million different, ways to protect. A lot of them monetary, but when I hear, some, women want to be protected, they want to be with someone that they can, you know, be themselves fully 100% without any type of fear, whether that fear comes from anything internal, external, and then just overall safety for them. And, you know, I personally feel that, whenever a woman does feel safe, I won't say she turns into a completely different person, but she shows you a different part of herself, right? She's showing you, her most vulnerable, or showing you herself at her most vulnerable, which she's not going to do that for everyone. So, some women, it takes a little bit, longer to get to that point. Others not so much. I mean, every single woman is different, but that's what I hear when I hear, protected. When a woman wants to feel protected, they want to feel safe, and that's a fair thing.
BK, how do you want to be seen in a relationship when you're with a woman, you're dating, and you kind of feeling her? How you want to be seen? Well, is that important to you?
Yes, I think image is important. However, I want to be seen as honest, genuine, caring, loving, fun. So a variety of adjectives. And I think most importantly, I just want to be consistent.
Okay. Okay.
And not saying that I've always been consistent.
Yeah.
So it's something I strive for.
Yeah. All right. Well, how do you want to be seen? I know how you want to be heard, Ellis.
How do I want to be heard?
Yeah.
Clearly, consistently, right? With respect, and with open ears. And when I say with open ears, I mean don't hear me just to pass the time. Hear me to actually hear what I'm saying, and actually take it in. Like if we're having a conversation and we may disagree, like listen to where I'm coming from, right? I'm always going to, one of my main things when it comes to relationship is providing that safe space, right? And when it comes to, if there's anything that you have to say, get it off your chest, you will always have that space. As long as it's, respectful and, we're actually communicating with each other and listening to each other. So that's how I will always hear her. And I just ask for the same thing in return.
Now, I know you guys are professional men, and y'all moved up the ranks of the corporate ladder, and professions that most people will find very impressive. But why would any woman want to date you guys?
Hold that.
Boy, think about it. I think for all the reasons that are in that book, like we're men working on improving ourselves, trying to be our best selves every day, fighting battles out there in corporate America, trying to have a voice, but then also trying to be that protector, provider, mate for some lucky lady out there. But I think we provide great qualities that any woman would want.
Great. When we come back from the gentleman's playbook, I have an important question that I'm going to ask these gentlemen. We'll be right back to the gentleman playbook. Welcome back to the gentleman playbook. I'm your host, Rod Warner. Guys, before we end this segment, I do have one question. And I want both you guys to answer this. How should any woman, and why should any woman take you guys serious?
I'll let you go first.
So my answer is going to come off as kind of shallow, but I honestly feel that that's where I am. They should take me serious because I take myself seriously.
Okay.
Right. No woman is going to respect you or take you serious if you don't respect or take yourself serious, or if you don't respect yourself and take yourself serious. I take myself very seriously. I know who I am. I know what I do. I know how I'm doing it. I know the journey that I'm currently on. I know the journey that I've been on, right? And ultimately, I'm not going to get into the what I bring to the table. I think that argument has turned completely sideways, but there's a difference between knowing what you bring to the table and knowing your value and knowing your worth, right? I know exactly what I'm worth. I know what I'm capable of. I know what, you know, I feel that whatever God has in store for me, it's going to be amazing. So I 100% take myself seriously. And if a woman, I don't want to sound, you know, you know, misogynistic or anything like that. But if a woman or if anyone doesn't take me seriously, then that's your choice, and we can, go our separate paths. But that's why I feel that way.
BK.
Bravo. I share a lot of the same sentiments, but also feel like I'm a man who's going to try hard for the relationship. Try hard for her, and every day it's going to be me, giving 100% effort, and there will be days that I fall short, but I'll get back up and try to keep that train going. And so I think it's always a process, and I'm just going to give it my all.
As we conclude in this session of the Gentleman's Playbook, when a person, you want someone to take you seriously, you have to be a man of your word. You have to be consistent. Discipline is one key aspect that everyone admires. How you move, meaning, do you do everything that you say you're going to do? This is how people take you serious. Are you a man of your word? And even women, are you a woman of your word? Because if you say one thing and you do something else, where I come from, that's called a lie. I want to thank my gentleman today for coming on the Gentleman's Playbook, Dr. BK, Ellis Roper, man. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, man. I appreciate. These are two men that I admire the hell out of. Very intelligent men who've accomplished a lot and climbed the corporate ladder. Guys, keep going. Keep going.
Will do.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Gentleman's Playbook. I'm your host, Rod Warner. Thank you.